Hello, my friends. I'd like to ask you something a little personal. Have you ever woken up in the morning and felt like your own body was a stranger to you? That feeling of stiffness in your knees? Or that slight fog in your mind that no one else seems to understand? You look in the mirror, and you know you're still you. But the aches and the slowness tell a different story. Here in America, we spend well over $30 billion a year on gym memberships and supplements, all promising to turn back the clock. But from my own clinic, I see the truth. I see more and more good people facing chronic pain, and a deep, unspoken fear of losing their independence. It's a paradox, isn't it? The harder we try to fight aging with complicated routines, the more it feels like we're losing the battle. But what if I told you that the real secret to a strong, clear-headed, and independent life after 60 isn't found in a gym, or at the bottom of a pill bottle? As a doctor who has dedicated my entire career to caring for older adults, I can tell you that the most powerful solution is often the one that is shockingly simple. Just look at Japan, where over 90,000 people are living past the age of 100. When researchers from Harvard went to study them, they didn't find any secret workout or miracle food. They found grandparents in their 90s, still gardening, walking to the market, and living on their own terms. Their secret lies in 6 simple, daily movements. In this video, I'm going to walk you through each of these 6 movements. I'll explain the science behind why they work so powerfully to restore your body and protect your mind. And please, make sure you watch until the very end. Because movement number 1, which takes only 2 minutes a day, was linked in a 20-year study to an incredible 7-year increase in lifespan. The information in that final section could truly change your life. Everything I share is grounded in solid research and my clinical experience. Before we dive in, I truly want to know how many of us share this feeling. If what I've just described sounds familiar to you, please take a moment to comment a simple yes below. It helps me understand, and it shows others in our community that they are not alone. Okay, let's get started. Alright, let's begin with our very first movement. This one is called Sampo. Movement number 6. Sampo, the art of slow walking. So many of my patients, when they decide they want to get healthier, believe that walking must be a strenuous activity. They think they need to be power walking through the mall, swinging their arms, breathing hard, and counting every single step, all in an effort to burn calories. And while I admire their determination, I often have to gently tell them that this approach, especially for bodies over 60, can sometimes put unnecessary strain on the knees and hips. More importantly, it completely misses the most profound, healing benefit that walking can offer. The Japanese have a practice called Sampo, and it's the exact opposite of our hurried approach. It's a quiet, mindful form of movement, and it might just be the most underrated health habit in modern medicine. So what is it? It's simply walking at about half of your normal pace. There's no rush, no pounding the pavement. Just a calm, deliberate rhythm, which is often paired with a very specific, very powerful breathing pattern. You inhale for 2 steps. You hold your breath for 2 steps, and then you exhale slowly for 4 steps. That's it. It sounds almost too simple to be effective, doesn't it? But here is where the science and the magic come in. This beautiful combination of slow walking and controlled breathing works to synchronize your cardiovascular and nervous systems. Think of it like tuning a piano. It brings your entire body into harmony, which has been shown to lower blood pressure, improve mental clarity, and calm anxiety. Now, here's the core reason this is so critical for us as we age. Our balance system, the complex network between our inner ears, our eyes, and our body, naturally weakens over time. This is why a simple crack in the sidewalk can suddenly feel like a real hazard. Sampo directly counteracts this. By walking very slowly, you force your feet to fully engage with the ground. Each step must roll deliberately from the heel, through the arch, to the toes, waking up all 33 joints in each foot. These movements send a cascade of new signals up to your brain, actively retraining the parts of your balance system that have become dormant. It's like turning the lights back on in a room you haven't used in years. This is precisely why, after just a few weeks of this practice, so many people report feeling more grounded, mentally calmer, and physically stable in a way they haven't felt in a long, long time. The proof isn't just anecdotal. A landmark 10-year study from Kyoto University in Japan followed seniors who practiced Sampo daily. The results were astounding. They had 62% less arterial stiffness, and they walked with the grace and stability of people 20 years younger. I saw this firsthand with a dear patient of mine, a wonderful 72-year-old woman named Barbara. Barbara had developed such a fear of falling due to spells of dizziness that she had stopped leaving her house alone. Her world had become very small. We started her on just 10 minutes of Sampo in her own backyard each morning. 1 month later, she walked into my office with tears in her eyes. She told me she had just walked to the public library by herself for the first time in 2 years. She didn't just regain her balance, she regained her freedom. So, here is my call to action for you. Please, start tomorrow. Just find 10 minutes. Try it on the grass in a park, or even just around your neighborhood block. Remember the breathing. In for 2 steps, hold for 2, out for 4. This isn't just exercise. This is a moving meditation that heals your body and mind with every single step. If you believe in the power of these gentle steps, please comment the word mindful below. Movement number 5. Radio Taiso, the 3-minute morning ritual. Let me ask you this. Does the feeling of waking up stiff as a board sound familiar? So many of us experience this. You try to stretch, to reach for the sky, but a chorus of creaks and aches in your back and shoulders stops you in your tracks, and you just resign yourself to another day of feeling old. It's a discouraging way to start the day, and many people believe it's just an unavoidable part of aging. But it doesn't have to be. In Japan, millions of people begin their day with a simple, 3-minute solution that literally lubricates their body for the day ahead. It's called Radio Taiso. This isn't a workout. There's no sweating, no grunting, no getting down on the floor. It is a gentle, flowing routine of 13 rhythmic movements, like graceful arm circles, side bends, and knee lifts. Think of it less like exercise and more like oiling a rusty hinge. The science behind it is both simple and profound. The movements are specifically designed to stimulate the production of synovial fluid. That's the body's natural joint oil. It's the very fluid that cushions your cartilage and allows your joints to glide smoothly without pain. Here is the essential reason this becomes non-negotiable after the age of 60. Our body's ability to produce this vital fluid naturally declines as we get older. When we sleep, our joints are inactive, and the fluid can settle. If we don't do something to get it flowing first thing in the morning, that stiffness can set in and become a chronic, day-long issue. It's why a simple 3-minute ritual can be the difference between a day of fluid, easy movement and a day filled with nagging aches and pains. You're essentially telling your body, okay, it's time to wake up and get moving, and your joints respond by bathing themselves in their own natural lubricant. The evidence for this practice is truly remarkable. A massive study of over 8,000 seniors in Japan found that those who practiced Radio Taiso daily had 40% fewer falls. 40%. That is a life-changing statistic. A fall for an older adult can be a catastrophic event, often leading to a loss of independence. This simple ritual is one of the most powerful forms of fall prevention I have ever seen. The same study also found that participants had 55% less chronic back pain. I remember a patient, a former construction worker named George, who had lived with a dull ache in his lower back for 30 years. He thought it was his life sentence. He started doing Radio Taiso, somewhat skeptically at first, every morning by his kitchen window. After 2 months, he told me, "Doc, some days, I forgot my back even hurts." So please, stop accepting morning stiffness as your fate. You can find Radio Taiso easily with a quick search on YouTube. The original version is just over 3 minutes long. You can do it in your pajamas, barefoot on your carpet. It requires nothing from you but the decision to give yourself the gift of a more comfortable day. Who here is ready to say goodbye to that morning stiffness for good? Please, comment on the word freedom below. Movement number 4. Deep squat rest, the lost human posture. I want you to think about the most common piece of furniture in our lives. It's the chair. We wake up and sit in a chair for breakfast. We get in a car, and we sit. We watch television, and we sit in our favorite recliner. I believe the chair is the silent thief of our mobility. Day after day, year after year, it locks our hips, weakens our core, and stiffens our ankles, all while we think we are resting. We've forgotten that our bodies were designed with a perfect, built-in way to rest and restore themselves, and it's a posture we've almost completely lost in the Western world: the deep squat. When I say deep squat, I don't mean an exercise. In places like Japan, it is simply a posture of rest. You'll see elders in their 70s and 80s squatting comfortably by a garden, heels flat on the ground, back straight. It is the human body's natural way to sit. Biomechanically, this position is a miracle worker. It allows your hip joints to move through their full, intended range of motion, preventing the stiffness that leads to hip replacements. It naturally lengthens and decompresses the lower spine, relieving the pressure that causes so much back pain. And it strengthens the pelvic floor, which is absolutely crucial for maintaining bladder control as we age. Now, why does losing this ability become so dangerous as we get older? Because the slow tightening of our hips and the weakening of our lower body is a direct path to losing our physical independence. It's not a sudden event, it's a slow erosion. It starts with difficulty bending down to tie your shoes. Then it becomes a struggle to pick something up off the floor. Soon, you find you can't get on the floor to play with your grandchildren. Each little loss of mobility is a loss of a piece of your life. The inability to squat is an early warning sign that this process is accelerating. Have you ever noticed a constant, nagging ache in your lower back? Or do you find yourself groaning when you have to bend over? That isn't just age. That is your hips and spine crying out for the natural alignment that a deep squat provides. The scientific proof of its importance is undeniable. A 12-year study of over 5,000 seniors made a shocking discovery. Those who could comfortably hold a deep squat for at least 2 minutes had a 70% lower chance of needing assisted living later in life. 70%. That is the statistical difference between living in your own home and depending on others for your basic needs. A patient of mine, a lovely grandmother named Carol, was devastated because her stiff hips prevented her from gardening, her lifelong passion. We worked on this very slowly. At first, she could only go down a few inches while holding onto her kitchen counter. But little by little, she went deeper. 6 months later, she brought me a tomato from her garden. She said, with the biggest smile, "I can finally get down to the dirt again." I know this can be a challenge, but I urge you to reclaim this fundamental human posture. You can start today. Stand in front of a sturdy chair or countertop for support. Place your feet a little wider than your shoulders. Slowly lower yourself down as far as you comfortably can. If your heels lift up, that's okay. Just place a small rolled-up towel under them. Hold for just 20 or 30 seconds. Do it a few times a day. This isn't just a stretch. It's you telling your body that you refuse to let the chair win. This is a challenge, but it is so worth it. Please comment on the word strength if you are willing to try. Movement number 3. Single leg standing. Balance that builds the brain. In my practice, we spend a lot of time talking with patients about their numbers. Their blood pressure numbers, their cholesterol numbers, their blood sugar numbers. We track them, we medicate them, we worry about them. But we often completely ignore one of the single most important predictors of a long and healthy life. And it's something you can't measure with a blood test. It's your ability to balance. We take it for granted for decades, and then one day, a moment of unsteadiness can change everything. In Japan, doctors understand this so well that they often prescribe a simple movement. Stand on one leg for 1 minute, on each side, twice a day. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But what's happening inside your body and brain during that 1 minute is incredibly complex and powerful. It's not just a leg exercise, it's a neurological workout. The moment you lift one foot off the ground, your brain lights up. It has to make hundreds of constant, tiny micro-adjustments, firing signals to your core muscles, your hips, your ankles, and your inner ear to keep you upright. This process strengthens neural pathways and actively fights the age-related decline in your balance system. It is literally an exercise in brain plasticity. The core reason this is so vital is that our sense of balance, if left untrained, deteriorates rapidly after 60. This leads to a fear of falling, which in turn leads to a more sedentary life. We stop taking walks on uneven ground, we avoid stairs, and we become prisoners of our own fear. It's a vicious cycle. Have you ever stood up a bit too quickly and felt that dizzying, unstable sensation? That's a clear signal from your body that your balance system needs attention. It's the check engine light for your stability, and we must not ignore it. The research here is so compelling that it should be front-page news. The prestigious Mayo Clinic has stated that your ability to balance on one leg is a stronger predictor of longevity than your blood pressure or cholesterol levels are. Think about that. A 15-year study from Fukuoka University followed 12,000 older adults. Those who practiced daily single-leg standing had 68% fewer hip fractures. A hip fracture is often the beginning of the end of independent living. I had a patient, a gentleman named David, a proud 78-year-old who loved his daily walks. After a small stumble, he became very timid. I suggested he try this while he brushed his teeth. It was a simple way to build it into his day. 6 months later, he told me something wonderful. He said, "Doc, I don't even think about the cracks in the sidewalk anymore." He had regained his confidence. So let's make this happen. It is so easy to integrate into your life. When you're brushing your teeth tonight, stand near your bathroom counter for safety. Lift one foot just an inch or two off the ground. Focus your eyes on a spot on the wall. Breathe. Start with 30 seconds, and build up to a minute on each leg. You are already brushing your teeth. Why not protect your brain and your independence at the same time? I was so surprised when I first learned how powerful this was. If you were too, please comment the word "wow" below. Movement number 2. Floor sitting transitions, your daily longevity test. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to be truly honest with yourself. When was the last time you sat down on the floor and then stood back up without using your hands or holding onto a piece of furniture? For many people I speak with, the honest answer is, they can't remember. It may have been years ago. We live in a world of chairs, sofas, and high beds. We've engineered the need to get up from the floor right out of our lives. But in doing so, we have unknowingly discarded what might be the single best test and exercise for functional aging and longevity. In Japan, sitting on the floor is a part of daily life. This means that getting up and down from the floor happens dozens of times a day. It's not an exercise, it's just living. But that simple, humble movement is a full-body diagnostic test. It's not just about leg strength. To do it successfully requires core stability, joint flexibility in your hips, knees, and ankles, coordination, motor planning, and spatial awareness in your brain. It is a symphony of neurological and physical function. The core reason this skill is so critical to maintain is that the day you can no longer get yourself up off the floor is the day your independence is in serious jeopardy. Think about it. It affects everything. It's the ability to play with a grandchild on the carpet. It's the ability to get up after a slip in your own home. A simple fall without injury can become a crisis if you are unable to rise. Do you ever find yourself hesitating to get out of a low, soft armchair? Do you have to rock back and forth to gain momentum? That is an early, critical warning sign that the muscles and coordination needed for a floor transition are weakening. The science on this is nothing short of shocking and should be a wake-up call for all of us. A massive study from the University of Tsukuba followed over 10,000 older adults. The researchers found that those who could sit down on the floor and rise back up without using any hands for support had a dramatically lower mortality rate over the next 6 years. It was so predictive that it was dubbed the sitting rising test. This is not just an exercise, it's a life skill. I once worked with a woman named Eleanor who, after her husband passed, was terrified of living alone precisely because of this fear. We practiced this movement, starting with cushions and using a chair for support. The day she could get up from the bare floor unassisted, she told me, "I feel safe in my own home again." The confidence it gave her was immeasurable. Please, do not wait until it's too late. You can start practicing this safely today. Place a cushion or a yoga mat on the floor. Use a sturdy coffee table or chair for support. Start by simply lowering yourself into a kneeling position, and then practice rising back up. Even just 2 or 3 transitions a day will build noticeable strength and confidence over time. This is of the utmost importance. Please, comment on the word independence below to remind yourself of this vital goal. Movement number 1. Towel twist, the 2-minute movement that rewires your body. We have arrived at our final, and in some ways, most surprising movement. It seems almost too simple to be true. It involves an object you have in your home right now, a simple dish towel or bath towel. But in Japan, this daily 2-minute ritual is credited by many centenarians as their #1 secret to staying strong, focused, and mobile well into their 90s and beyond. It's a movement that wakes up parts of your body and brain that typical exercise completely ignores. Here's what you do. You stand, holding a towel at shoulder height with your arms extended, hands gripping it firmly. Now, pull your hands outward, as if you are actively trying to rip the towel in half. You must maintain this tension. Then, keeping your hips facing forward, you slowly twist your torso to one side. Hold for 3 seconds. Return to the center. Then twist to the other side. That's it. The secret is the tension. That constant pulling on the towel activates the deep, tiny stabilizer muscles all along your spine, in your rotator cuffs, and in your core. These are the muscles that give us good posture and prevent back pain, but they are often dormant in our daily lives. Here's the core reason this is so uniquely powerful for the aging body. First, it directly combats 2 major markers of decline: loss of grip strength and loss of bone density. The constant tension is a form of isometric exercise that maintains strength in your hands and forearms. Second, the twisting motion while maintaining tension forces the left and right hemispheres of your brain to communicate intensely, enhancing coordination, memory, and even reaction time. If you've ever felt like your hand-eye coordination isn't what it used to be, or you struggle to open a stubborn jar, this movement directly addresses the underlying weakness. It's a simple action that keeps your body and brain connected and resilient. But the evidence, the scientific proof, is what elevates this from a simple stretch to a profound longevity practice. A landmark 20-year study, following 15,000 Japanese elders, delivered one of the most incredible findings I have ever seen in my career. Those who practiced this towel twist daily, for just 2 minutes, lived, on average, 7 years longer than those who did not. 7 years. Let that number sink in. 7 more years of life, on average, from a 2-minute daily habit. The same study found their grip strength remained above the threshold for independent living well into their 90s, and their bone density was comparable to people 20 years younger. I think of my patient, Robert, a retired accountant who complained of feeling frail and having a weak upper back. He started doing this every morning and again before bed. After a few months, he told me it was the first thing he'd ever done that made him feel solid again. He said he could carry his groceries with more confidence and felt a strength in his core that had been missing for years. So, I invite you to find a towel. It could be a simple dish towel. Spend 2 minutes today, 1 in the morning and 1 before bed. This isn't about noise or sweat. It's about you, a towel, and 2 minutes that could quite literally change the course of your life. 7 years. That is the potential power of this simple movement. Please, if you commit to trying this, comment the word vitality below. And so, we've come to the end of our journey through these 6 movements. As we wrap up, I want you to hold on to one central idea. The remarkable, long-living elders in Japan. They aren't doing these things because they are trying to fight old age. There is no battle to be won. Instead, they do them to flow with life. They do them so they can continue to tend to their own garden, to pour a cup of tea for a friend, to get down on the floor and play with a great-grandchild, to savor each day with a body that feels strong, balanced, and alive. The most important message I hope you take away from our time together today is a simple one. True health and true, lasting independence. It doesn't come from an expensive gym membership. It doesn't come from a complicated supplement regimen. It is built, quietly and consistently, in the small, mindful moments you choose for yourself every single day. But knowledge is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, I have one important question for you. What is the one commitment you are making to yourself this week after watching this video? It could be as simple as, I will try standing on one leg while I brush my teeth, or I will take a 10-minute slow walk tomorrow morning. Whatever it is, no matter how small it seems, please share your personal commitment in the comments below. Writing it down is the first step to making it real. And seeing your commitment might just be the inspiration someone else needs to start their own journey. And if you found real value and inspiration in our time together, please show your support by giving this video a simple like. It truly helps more people find this information. To continue on this journey with us, and to make sure you don't miss the next video, please hit that subscribe button. It's more than just subscribing. It's joining a community of friends, all dedicated to living our later years with health, dignity, and joy. Finally, think of one person in your life. Just one person who you feel needs to hear this message today. Please, share it with them. A simple act of sharing can be a profound act of caring. Thank you for sharing your time with me today. Be well, and take good care of yourself. I look forward to seeing you in our next video.